Please come to a seated position on your mats. Comfortably seated. Move your glutes from your sitting bones so you can root down into the earth. And just begin to breathe and settle into your space. Today is the first day of fall. And what fall brings about for me is the idea of change. The seasons mimic our own personal bodily cycles, our emotional cycles. And the summer is a time of so much sunlight, so much warmth, so much daytime. And when we head into fall, the leaves start changing, colors start coming out, the air becomes more crisp. And we begin to settle into a preparation for the winter. When things change, it can be alarming, it can be disheartening, it can be scary sometimes, but it can also be reawakening. It can remind you that you're alive and things shift. Nothing ever stays the same. Can you see that as a gift? That life doesn't let it get boring. Things will always shift and change, and can you move with the changing times, with the changing weather, both externally and your internal changing weathers? Can you move with them and honor them? Can you have patience and give whatever comes up the space and the time so that it can move through you? Because when we embrace change rather than resist change, we're able to grow peacefully as needed with grace. Bring your hands to heart center and bow into your heart and take a moment just to thank yourself for coming here today. We're just going to start warming up the back in our seated position, so put your hands on your knees. And inhale, begin to swing to the right and forward, pushing your chest between your shoulders. And exhale, begin to swing to the left and back, curving your spine. Leaning onto your knees with your hands so you can get a curve. Inhale to the right and forward, and exhale to the left and back. Follow your own breath, warming up the spine here, and pivoting from your pelvis or your sitting bones, which are rooted, and we're just going to spin our spine around that rooted point. Always linking the breath with the movement. Can you see if you can move a little slower? The next time you come forward, pause at the top of your breath and exhale. This time, go to the opposite side. heading in the opposite direction. Come to a neutral spine, elevated from your core to your crown. Inhale and inflate your chest. Feel your chest expand. And lift your ears up to your shoulders up to your ears, and exhale, bring them back behind you. Relax your shoulders while maintaining their engagement so you can have openness through your collarbones, through your rib cage, and even through your throat. Grab your right hand and put it on just the outer left side of your head, and without pulling, just gently guide your head towards your right ear. You can extend your left arm out to the side, or you can relax it beside you and really concentrate on your left shoulder, dragging down to the earth as you gently, and I'm not even pushing, guide your head to your right shoulder. Breathe here, feel the stretch along your muscles in your neck, your tendons. Feel the beautiful juicy stretch and inflate that space with your breath. Two more breaths here. Make the last one count. Take your right hand and help your head back up to neutral so we don't strain the muscles that we just stretched. Give yourself to feel the length return to your spine, your neck, and align them all. And then take your left hand to the outer edge of your head on the right side and gently just guide your left ear to your left shoulder, drawing down your right shoulder. You can extend your arm if you want and do little movements, finding different areas of your neck. Or for today, if you feel you want more stillness in your practice, you can just rest your arm and energetically draw it down. Breathe into your neck space. Your beautiful neck that holds your beautiful head all day. Let's give it some love. Remembering our Ujjayi breaths, which is an audible breath in through the nose and out through the nose, almost like a sigh. Can you make your inhale more audible? Two more breaths. Remember to draw down your right shoulder and really breathe into those tight spaces. Send your breath there. Imagine you can send it to whatever part of your body you want. Last breath. And with your left hand, gently push your head up into neutral. Find your alignment again, lengthening through your core, opening your chest, bringing your neck back, and lengthening up through the crown of your head. Feel your beautiful posture in your seated position. Give yourself a little smile. No matter where you're at in life, no matter how hard things might be at the time, you're doing it. Give yourself some credit and allow yourself to flow with the changing times. Roll over onto your hands and your knees and tuck your toes under. Begin to pedal your hands out so you can find your foundation in your hands, spreading your fingers wide and making sure that your wrist creases are pointing forward rather than out to the sides or inwards. That means that the space between your index and your middle finger, which lines up with your center of your wrist crease, is what's pointing forward. So almost your middle finger, but just a little bit more of the space between those fingers. Make sure you're plugging in your palms to the mat, which means you might need to claw your fingers a little bit, really plugging them in, almost like suction cups. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze, lift your sitting bones. This is your cow pose, and exhale, curve your spine towards the ceiling. Tailbone comes in, head looks towards your tailbone. This is your cat. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze. Cow pose, and exhale back to cat pose. Continue pulsing through cat-cow, continuing to warm up the spine. Your spine is so important. The central highway of our nervous system. And it also affects your posture, how you hold yourself, how you carry yourself. Can you carry yourself through life confidently, engaged with the present moment, and willing to experience whatever comes? Press up and back into downward facing dog and pedal your feet out for a moment. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back behind you, kicking your heel straight up. And then exhale, bend your knee, begin to point it to the ceiling, and open up your hips to the right side of the room. Feel the stretch along your right hip, maybe even the right side of your body, as you push into your hands and open up through the side. Inhale, kick your leg up and back behind you, and exhale, step it beside your left foot. Pedal your feet out a moment. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back behind you, and exhale, open and stack your hips, pointing your left knee to the ceiling. Feel the stretch along the left side of your hip, the left side of your body. Breathe into this space. Inhale, kick your leg up and back behind you, and exhale, step your foot to meet your other foot. Downward facing dog. Slower than you want to, begin to walk your feet up to meet your hands and forward fold. Have a slight bend in your knees so that you can allow your torso to hang. Inhale your hands to your shins. Bring your shoulders onto your back. Bring your neck back. Parallel with the floor, halfway lift and forward fold. Plant your hands and step back into a high plank position. You can drop your knees if you need to. Tuck your elbows into your torso and slowly lower down. Untuck your toes. Gently push into your hands. Cobra. And release. Curl your toes under and push up and back into downward facing dog. We're going to do that one more time. So inhale and exhale, begin to walk your feet towards your hands and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, bring your neck back. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step back into a high plank position. Tuck your elbows into your body. You can drop your knees if you need to and lower down. Untuck your toes. Push up into your back bend, which can be a little cobra, or come up into an upward facing dog. And exhale, curl over your toes and back into downward facing dog. Beautiful. This time, look towards your hands. Bend into your elbows just a little bit and see if you can hop to the front of your mat to meet your hands and fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. And exhale, draw your hands down through heart center and alongside your hips. Beautiful. So come into a mountain pose with your feet right under your hips in number 11s, completely parallel to one another. Find the foundation in your feet by maybe pedaling them out a little bit. Lift your toes and feel the activation in your arches. Plug down primarily through the inner corners or inner edges of your feet, but make sure you have strength holding you in the four corners of your feet. You can release your toes, but maintain that engagement in your arches. Maintain soft knees so you're not hyperextending back. They're soft. And for a moment, bend into your knees and bounce your arms up. And inhale and exhale. Begin to bend back a little bit into a back bend. Inhale, come up. And exhale, hands through heart center. So remembering in our mountain pose that our tailbone is slightly tucked and our belly is engaged. So if we go into a back bend, we make sure that our backs don't do this, but that our lower half is completely sturdy and steady. Our bellies are engaged, and we're bending from about the mid-back up. So we're going to try that again. Bounce into your knees and scoop your arms up and overhead. Grab that energy above you and exhale. Begin to travel into your back bend. Not too far. Inhale, come up, and exhale, forward fold. Walk yourself into a downward facing dog. And inhale, lift your right leg up and back behind you. Exhale, step your right foot between your hands and drop your left heel so you're in a front heel to back arch alignment. And inhale, lift your arms parallel to the floor, pointing to the front and back of the room. Warrior two. Make sure your knee is tracking over your ankle so it's not dumping inwards. Your hips are open to the side of the room and you're looking over your fingertips. Make sure your shoulders are on your back and engaged. And feel yourself expanding. Magnetize your back thigh back. Open through your hips, expand through your chest. Imagine you can shoot your energy out of your fingertips like laser beams, and that doesn't deplete your power at all. Imagine shooting your energy out of you, expanding, radiating. On your next exhale, drop your right forearm to your right thigh and lift your left arm up and overhead. Breathe here. Feel the stretch along the left side of your body. Your palms should be facing the ground, and you should be reaching through your arm and through your fingertips. If you can't get your shoulder quite overhead, then go up. Go as far as you can, but reach with all of your engagement, all of your energy. And slowly you'll find that you can go further overhead. Inhale up to warrior two. Your legs stay the same. And exhale, drop your left hand, lift your right arm up towards you, towards the ceiling, and up and overhead. This is your reverse warrior. Breathe. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle pose, right forearm comes to right thigh, left arm up and overhead. Inhale, warrior two, and exhale, reverse warrior. Drop your left arm, lift your right arm up and overhead. Palm still faces the earth. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, plant your hands to frame your front foot and step back into a downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet here for a moment and breathe. Inhale your left leg up and back behind you. And exhale, step your left foot between your hands. Drop your right heel so you're in a front heel to back arch alignment. And come up to warrior two, arms parallel to the front and backs. Parallel to the earth, pointing at the front and back of the room. Make sure your belly is engaged, your tailbone is tucked, so we're not dumping into our bellies or that curve in our low back. We're engaging, and we're engaging our shoulders onto our backs as well, while expanding. Feel your expansiveness, feel the strength in your legs, and draw that strength up and expand it out through your fingertips. Exhale, drop your left arm to meet your left thigh and reach your right arm up and overhead. Breathe here for a few breaths. Make sure your hand that's leaning on your thigh is relaxed. Make sure your face is relaxed. Maybe smile here. We're never clenching, simply engaging. Notice that if you do clench, it's almost a resistance. There's no need to resist. You can absolutely do it, and you can absolutely feel it. Inhale, come up to a warrior two. Your legs stay the same. And exhale, drop your right arm, lift your left arm up and overhead. Reverse warrior, look up towards your left hand. Palm faces the ground. And breathe. Inhale to warrior two. And exhale, drop your left arm, side angle pose. Inhale to warrior two. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, warrior two. And exhale, side angle pose. One more pulsation like this. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, reverse warrior. And inhale, warrior two. Frame your foot with your hands and step back into downward facing dog. Pedal your feet out here. Inhale, come forward into a high plank and lower down to your belly. Drop your knees if you need to. Make a pillow for your head and windshield wiper your feet from side to side. Giving your low back a little bit of a stretch. Come into stillness. And bring your elbows directly under your shoulders. Engage your muscles in your back and have your palms flat on the earth as much as you're able to. Pushing into your hands and your forearms, which are directly under your shoulders. Bring your shoulders onto your back and lead with your heart. Feel your heart expanding forward. Bring your neck back so you can make sure that your head's not jutting forward. And breathe here. This is your Sphinx pose. Two more breaths. Last one. And you can melt down to the mat. This time, we're going to go into half lotus. So bring your hands to your sides so that your fingers are pointing towards your feet. And engage your back muscles. Lift your torso, reaching for your feet. Breathe here. Feel your engagement in your core of your back. Your back that supports you, that holds you. Maybe press into the tops of your feet. Exhale, fold. Create a pillow for your head and windshield wiper your feet from side to side. This time, moving into a full lotus. You can absolutely do this. Hands point towards your feet. Inhale and exhale. Reach your hands towards your feet. This time, lift your feet a little bit. Maybe lifting your legs and your thighs. Full lotus. Breathe. On exhale, you can meet the earth. Windshield wiper your feet from side to side. Roll over onto your back and bring your knees together and your feet as wide as your mat. Make sure your shoulders are under your back. Your neck is long and the back of your neck is meeting the earth as much as it can. And then drop your thighs or your knees to the right. Bring your arms out alongside you and look to your left. Supine twist. Breathe here and let yourself melt. If you want a little extra stretch here, you can take your right foot and put it on the outside of your left knee to help draw it down. Make sure simultaneously you're melting your left shoulder blade to the earth so it's not lifting off. And breathe into the stretch along the left side of your body. Inhale to center. Breathe here in neutral spine for a moment. Maybe readjust your neck if you need to, making sure that the curve in your neck is reduced. With your feet as wide as your mat, you can drop your knees to the left side and look to your right. Maybe one side is a little different than another. Love them both equally. You can bring your left foot to the outside of your right knee if you want a little bit of an extra stretch. But make sure you are energetically drawing your right shoulder blade to the mat so it's not lifting. And feel the stretch along the right side of your body. Always remembering to come back to your breath. You can remove your foot from your knee if that's what you were doing, and inhale to center. And breathe here for a moment. Bring your feet towards your glutes. You can bring your hands down to point towards your heels. So your feet should be hip width apart now and kind of close to your glutes. And with your shoulders on your back, your neck elongated, press into your feet and lift your hips. Bridge pose. Feel the engagement in your low back. Imagine that you can inflate your kidneys with your air, your breath, almost like the sails of a boat. And imagine that when you inflate your back body with your air, that it helps to lift you and support you. Always remembering to connect with our breath. 2 more breaths. And you can lower to the mat. Bring your left ankle over your right knee and lift your right foot off the ground so you can reach behind your right thigh. Use your left elbow to push into your left thigh to keep it open as you pull into your right thigh, drawing your legs in towards your torso. Feeling that juicy stretch along the outer left glute, your outer hip. Breathe here and accept exactly where you are. Two more breaths. And you can release your right foot to the earth. Release your left foot. And then bring your right heel up and over your left knee. Lift your left foot from the earth so you can reach behind your left thigh. Use your right elbow to press into your right knee as you draw your left thigh in towards your body. Breathe. Make sure your neck is meeting the earth as much as it can, aligning your neck with the rest of your spine. Remember to make an audible quality to your breath. That is your ujjayi breath. That helps you draw your air into the desired regions of your body. So send your air to your outer right hip. Two more breaths. And exhale, you can lower your feet to the earth. Extend your legs out in front of you. Make sure your feet are as wide or wider than hip width apart. And let them fall to the sides of the room. Make sure there's nothing in your way, so you can just flop. Once again, just adjust and make sure your shoulders are tucked onto your back slightly. Your neck is meeting the earth as much as it can. This is your corpse pose. And all you have to do in this pose is be. Can you practice accepting where you are without having to plan for what you're going to do next? Without worrying about what you've just done or where you've come from. Can you accept this moment for what it is without rushing it? This is your practice of learning how to feel what it feels like to inhabit your body. Give yourself permission to feel that right now. What does it feel like to be you right now, here in this moment? You don't need to answer that question. Just feel it. Inquire with yourself. Begin to bring movement into your fingers, your toes, your hands and your feet, maybe your wrists and ankles. Bring your feet together and bring your hands together up and overhead and give yourself a juicy stretch. Roll over onto your right side and use your right bicep as a pillow. Just to rest here for a moment. Press into your hands. Excuse me. And come up to sit. Find your foundation, find your seat, sit proudly, and bring your hands to heart center. My wish for you is that you have more acceptance, more willingness to go with the flow, and accept the flowing times of change. So today, when things seem uncertain or scary, or if you're stuck in planning for your future, can you come back to your breath? Can you come back to your body and remember where you are and who you are? You are so powerful, so capable, so resilient. Bow into your heart and give yourself a thank you again for practicing today, connecting with yourself. The light and shadow in me bows to and acknowledges the light and shadow in each of you. Namaste. I hope you all enjoy your day.